Let's take a look at the comparison between calcium chloride and relative humidity testing results. In front of me here, I have a graph that we have on our website that we put together to really illustrate the comparison between calcium chloride testing results and relative humidity testing results. This was actually compiled by somebody other than Wagner, and it deals with 4 or 5 different independent testing people or persons that are going to different job sites, and they were asked to do relative humidity testing and calcium chloride testing in the same spots on these given job sites. So it gave us a very random sampling of the comparison between calcium chloride testing and relative humidity testing. What you'll see on this side is the pounds of vapor emission for each one of these tests. Down here you see the relative humidity for each one. And then the triangle shows what it rated on a calcium chloride test and what the relative humidity testing result came up for that same location. The one thing I bring up, and I look at this, you can see how random these are, but to really pinpoint a few things. One, if you look at this area, 75% or less, which is typically known to be acceptable for all floor covering that are out there, or most floor coverings. And then if you look at 5 pounds or less, this quadrant here, you'll see where relative humidity and calcium chloride testing did, from the scheme of install or don't install, they did agree. That's great. My problem is this quadrant over here where it shows areas that are 5 pounds or less, but that potentially could be very, very, very questionable from a relative humidity standpoint as to whether or not you should install. The one area that I can say that, at least from a very small sample size, that if you have very excessively high vapor emission rates, that you do typically see higher relative humidity rates, but that really is just anecdotal, and it really is just a very small sample size. At the end of the day, this small quadrant agrees. This small quadrant doesn't. And most people would tell you if you only had one test to do, relative humidity testing is going to be the way to determine whether or not you should or should not install that floor covering. Hit me up on Twitter at RapidRHRep and let me know if you found this information to be interesting.